Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And in this video, I am concluding my ranking of all the MCU movies from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame, 22 movies in all. First one starting in 2008, the last one ending in 2019. So you got 11 years of movies, 22 movies here in total. So this is the grand finale. See here what I have in my top 3 favorite MCU movies here on Jason, the Old Millennial. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well here on late afternoon here on Monday. And this is Thanksgiving week, so hope everybody has a good week and has some time off. Fortunately, I work in healthcare, so I don't get time off. I work holidays and all that. But hopefully we'll be getting together with family over the weekend. And so I got just a couple videos going out this week because I figured since it's a holiday, probably take some time off from doing videos and all that. So this is the finale of my ranking the top 22 MCU movies from Iron Man to Endgame. The reason being that kind of ends to me the main storyline of the Infinity Stones, of Thanos as the bad guy. It's a really good kind of series of movies that tells a really good story from beginning to end, and does an incredible job of introducing so many different superhero characters and villains and stuff that really make the MCU. Of course, the MCU is going to go on forever. Until I'm 100 years old, there's going to still be more MCU movies coming out because they make so much money. Unfortunately, the MCU movies after this, to me, just hasn't been as good, just because it doesn't have that central storyline that this series does. With the we all knew it was going to end with a big battle with Thanos at the end, and had something to do with the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Stone. So what I love about this series is just every movie I watched because I wanted to see how it's going to further that storyline and what kind of Easter eggs are we gonna get, or what kind of, it's going to point towards future plot lines. So each movie was kind of fascinating to watch and kind of see, okay, where are we going with this whole storyline? Where we're going with the Infinity Stones, and each movie you get new Infinity Stones and how they play a part. So yeah, really great series, one of the best franchises of all time. I think the MCU, I would say this series. I almost want to forget that the other movies exist, even though like Spider-Man No Way Home, really, really awesome movie. I haven't seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever yet, though I'm not hearing good things about it. But yeah, they really haven't really been able to capitulate after Avengers Endgame, because it was such a great finale to the series. I almost feel like they shouldn't make any more MCU movies. It feels like they should just end it there and go, all right, this is a 22 movie series. I mean, it ends on such a good note. It's hard for me to watch other movies because I'm just like, man, it ended so well, as you'll see on my list here. It's like, how can we keep going further? But of course, it's going to go because it makes money. But anyways, so I come into number 3 on my list. If you don't know, if you watch, you know what 3 movies are left. And number 3, I got the original Marvel's The Avengers, which came out in 2012. The first of the 4 Avengers movies. And it's still one of my favorite of the series. I was kind of surprised when I went through it. I thought, does this movie still hold up? It's been, 10 years now since, it's crazy to think, 10 years ago, the Avengers came out. And it was such a groundbreaking concept and idea. At the time, it just totally, blew me away, that this idea that we're going to make an Iron Man movie, we're going to make a Captain America movie, we're going to make a Thor movie, and also add in, like Hawkeye and Black Widow. We're going to make all these movies, and then we're going to bring those characters together into one superhero, like, what do you call it? Super team up, And I just love the idea of getting different superheroes and teaming them up. And we just never had that before. It feels like we've had some movies where like we maybe have 1 or 2 superheroes team up here and there. But a lot of times it's hard to team up too many people, because when you get too many characters in, usually it seems bloated, the storyline, and it's hard to give everybody their shot. I think it's very difficult trying to get that many characters in and trying to give them their own scenes and stuff and make them shine. But they did a really good job, I thought, here in the Avengers, and doing that, bringing in all these characters, letting them have their great moments. And I've heard somebody say that The Avengers is kind of an overrated movie, and I almost kind of understand where they're going at because it is slow moving to begin. Because we start off getting the Loki coming in and grabbing the Tesseract, whatever, one of the Infinity Stones we learn later, and he grabs that, and Hawkeye comes under his. He gets to control him, and so we get this whole storyline with him, what he's doing. That's when we have to get the Avengers together to stop Loki. So it does take a while because we have to introduce each Avengers character individually and bring them together. So it does seem like it's an origin story in its own. Even though we've already got origin stories of all these superheroes, it's like the Avengers origin story. Which origin stories can be kind of slow moving because you're just introducing characters and stuff. And so we're getting reintroduced to all these characters, bringing them together for the first time and trying to get them acclimated to each other. And so the movie kind of goes on where they're not getting along, and at the end, of course, they finally come together to fight the big evil at the end. So I kind of see it, but man, the movie still works for me. And I think what works is the humor throughout. Just a lot of great humor, and the characters are so good, and the actors are so good. It's amazing casting. I mean, like I said, Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is amazing casting, perfect casting. My favorite character in the whole series, MCU series. And he's so fun to just be around, I think. And then Captain America's Chris Evans does a great job with that character. A more serious character with a little humor every once in a while. Does a great job. I think Chris Hemsworth is great as Thor. He's really starting to come into his own, I feel like, in that character in this movie. And again, he works really well with others. We introduced Mark Ruffalo in here, who does a good job taking over the Bruce Banner Incredible Hulk role. And Scarlett Johansson's absolutely great as a Black Widow, and really becomes one of my favorite characters here. Anyway, so I love all the characters, I think, and they come together very well. And a lot of great moments, even the non-action moments. There's some good back and forth banter. Like I love Thor. Someone says something about Loki, and he says, beware, you're talking about like my brother. And the guy says he killed like 11 people or killed all these people, and he says, well, he was adopted. And so he has some great comedic moments like that are done so well. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. is just so fast with his jokes. And you even get this tension between Iron Man and Captain America, which is interesting looking back at it because, man, we see it from the very beginning when they meet. They just kind of have this tension. They don't get along. And we see that really be a big plot line throughout the whole series. I mean, you really see it in Avengers Ultron, Age of Ultron, really not getting along. And then Captain America Civil War, of course, they have a whole fight scene. And then they have to kind of make amends before the end movie. And that's a big plot line of them kind of fighting and then coming back together. So I enjoy seeing that and hearing the Avengers that they still weren't getting along back here. But overall, it's one of the best action scenes ever made. The last scene, the Battle of New York with the Chitauri coming through that portal hole, and they get together, and just one of my favorite scenes. How they begin that with Captain America telling everybody, what to do, and he says, Bruce, this would be a good time to get angry, and he says, that's my secret. I'm always angry. And then he turns into the Hulk and then punches that big old giant alien thing. Just amazing how they shoot that, and all goes perfectly, and stuff like, you do this, you do that, Hulk smash, and then we get this whole great, like almost one shot where the camera follows one character, and then as he's battling somebody or flying around, and then the camera doesn't seem like it cuts at all of a sudden follows another character that comes into frame, and then follows another character, and I remember seeing the movie theater just being totally blown away, and I still to this day just absolutely love that scene. And it really makes this one of my favorite movies. Why it's number 3 really is because this Battle of New York scene is just so well done, the way it's shot and edited, and the way the whole scene goes in the very end with Iron Man almost dying, and then they bring him back to life, and then he says, oh, good job, guys. Maybe we don't go in tomorrow. Like it's a job that you have to clock in and out of. Like maybe we take a day off. We just saved the world basically. But yeah, love the Avengers. Still one of my top movies. At number 3 here. Number 2, I have a movie I just mentioned actually, Captain America: Civil War. At number 2, just right above Avengers. And the interesting thing, it's called Captain America: Civil War, but I think everybody says this, and I say it's the Avengers movie that's not an Avengers movie because it has almost all the Avengers in the movie plus some new characters that they bring in. You got all the greats with Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Vision, Wanda, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Vision. Then we introduce some really great characters: Black Panther, Spider-Man. Some huge characters in that become even bigger along the way in MCU, get their own movies. Anyway, so that was really fun to see all that. It's another movie that the MCU just has this really great formula, I think, where they have some really great action sequences and mixing with some good humor along the way, and also an interesting storyline, actually some pretty emotional moments. What makes this kind of above Avengers is because that last battle scene is very emotional, and I thought very well done. And I just think Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., gives just an amazing performance in this movie. I think I don't want to say underrated because he gets recognition maybe, but he never gets any Oscar recognition. And I always think, man, he gives such a good performance in these movies that he should have been Oscar nominated because he does a really very good job, not only being funny but being emotional as well. And Captain America Civil War has a lot of great action sequences. I like the whole dynamic between Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and Captain America trying to protect his friend even though he's on the wanted list, I guess. Of they think he's murdered Black Panther's dad, T'Challa's dad, and all that. So it's understandable that Black Panther's after him and the government's after him, but that Captain America still is loyal to his friend. So you like that storyline altogether. And then it has one of the best action sequences I think ever, and incredibly well done. Where of course it's called Civil War because we have Steve Rogers, Captain America, disagreeing with Tony Stark, Iron Man's character. One believes that they should be held in check by the government, they have something they're supposed to sign, the something accords, and I forget the name of the place, but and Captain America believes that they need to be independent from anybody over them because they need to make decisions on their own that to what to do, how to save the world, kind of thing. Anyways, and I'm always on Captain America's side because I always thought, yeah, the good guys, maybe some bad things happen, but it's only because the good guys stop the bad guys from worse things from happening. So I never understood Iron Man's point of view personally, but they do it just because they need that battle. And it's hard because it feels like they should just talk it out instead of battling. It feels like if they just sat down and talked it out, they would, understand, hopefully, but emotions get in the way and all that. But anyways, so they all come together, they bring in their own teams. And you get this big battle at the airport, and just one of the funnest battle sequences ever, where they're both good guys, which is weird because when you first think about how we can make a movie where good guys are fighting good guys should be fighting bad guys, and yet somehow they figured a way to have all the good guys come together and have a battle, but yet not necessarily killing each other. One individual gets hurt pretty badly, but almost by accident, basically, but. I love the battle sequence. I love Spider-Man, of course. Tom Holland comes in as Spider-Man, is great. And then Chadwick Boseman coming in as Black Panther. And so we get these great, battle sequences of Spider-Man fighting against Winter Soldier and Falcon, Spider-Man going up against Captain America, Black Panther, I think, is also going up against Captain America, and I think he goes up against Hawkeye at one point. Anyway, so we get these really fun battle sequences between two superhero teams, and the way it's edited, the way it begins, and then the middle, and then they all come back together and they run towards each other again. So it's just really well. The whole just fight sequence is just really well planned out, really well scripted, I think, and just really well choreographed, and just a really fun sequence. That really is kind of the highlight of the movie. Really makes it why it's number 2 on my list, because I remember seeing that movie theater and being like, wow, this is the best scene ever in a superhero movie. Absolutely loved it. Even the very beginning action sequence is so well done. I love that. And then the last action sequence is more the emotional sequence where Iron Man is trying to kill Winter Soldier and Captain America is trying to stop him from killing Winter Soldier. So there's this 2-on-1 battle that goes on. Very well done again, and love the last scene, and very emotional between Iron Man and Captain America there. Where I understand Iron Man's upset, but at the same time, I'm like on the side of Captain America. So really, really well done overall. And again, just amazing how they brought in so many different characters. Oh, Ant-Man, I forgot Ant-Man also comes into this movie. So I love how they bring in all these characters and somehow they all get their moments. I mean, it's very, I think, hard to do, but very well done here in Captain America Civil War, and that's why it's number 2 on my list. So there's only one movie left, and it's a movie I've always talked about as when I did my favorite movie of the decade of the 2010s, this was number 1. It's number 1 on just about any list that it can be up for, and that is Avengers Endgame. And what's amazing, it's the very last film. This is the 22nd film in this 22 film series, and they saved the best for last, which, I mean, if they did not land on this movie, it would have like ruined the whole series. You would have came away going, oh my gosh, I was waiting for like the finale, the movie that, closes all the storylines. And if they just did a terrible job, you've been like, oh man, I wouldn't bought these movies. I've been like, it would have ruined all the other movies and been like, oh man, wow, I was so much hype for nothing. So the fact that they came to the last movie and made it the best movie of the whole series, makes me so happy because it ends on such a great note, like I said, and leaves you going, wow, this was absolutely amazing. It went beyond all my expectations of what I thought the finale was going to be. I knew it was going to be a big battle, probably with all the superheroes going up against Thanos, but man, the way they did it, I was like, wow, this was such a genius script writing. What can you say? I mean, a lot of things go in this movie. It even has a time travel sequence, which I enjoy time travel, so I enjoy a lot of that. You even get a good emotional sequence between Tony Stark and his father, who have a strange relationship. So that was nice to see. Again, lots of great humor throughout the movie. Again, just a great formula of great action sequences and great humor to go along with it. I mean, obviously, it's like kind of a sad movie as well. I mean, this movie made me cry like at least 3 times. When I saw it in theater, everybody was bawling their heads off. It was the best movie experience I've ever had. I mean, where everybody was just so into the movie. We were like cheering during the cheer scenes. We were crying during the sad scenes. And it felt like everybody in the movie theater were all in on it together. And we had this amazing shared experience where we came out and we're almost like we all wanted to, give each other a hug because we just had this amazing experience together watching this movie. And yeah, it just goes all, like I said, I never cry at superhero movies, it seems like. And there's been a couple now that I do, but this is one where I was like, man, I can't do it without crying. Like, even now, I've seen it several times and I still cry at certain scenes because I think the thing that gets me so emotional is the Iron Man, Spider-Man, or the Tony Stark, Peter Parker storyline where, Peter Parker disappears during the snap in Infinity War. And through this movie, it's the one thing that brings him back. He has like this almost kind of good life. He doesn't want to do the time travel at first because he doesn't want to ruin his life. But he does it because he feels kind of bad what happens to Peter Parker. Because he brought Peter Parker into the Avengers, basically. And he's, a kid. He's a teenager. So he feels, responsible. It's kind of almost this mentor, almost father figure to Peter Parker. So I do love that emotional connection they have. And when he sees Spider-Man, when Peter Parker comes back and he hugs him, I just bawl my eyes out because I'm like, I love that storyline of those two characters. Anyways, and of course you get the Black Widow storyline, very sad as well. And what can you say? It's the best ending to a movie I've ever seen, at least a superhero action movie. Yeah, this is my favorite superhero movie of all time by far. I mean, it's a top 10 movie for me. I love it every time I watch it. That last battle sequence with all the portals opening up and the music coming in. Oh my gosh, like I got so many chills. When I first saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest moment of my life. Like seeing all those characters come through the portals and the music just keeps going up and up and up. And we get the dun 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 dun. And like, man, such great music to really get you in the mood of like, all right, I'm ready for a battle here with Thanos and his army. And now we got and the fact that they brought in, I mean, every superhero through this 22 movies, I mean, so many superheroes they had to bring in, and the fact that they brought in all these superheroes for this last battle, I mean, I've never seen that done before in film, and it's never been done. I don't know if they can do it nearly as well as this. Absolutely incredible experience seeing that, and still, when I watch that scene, a lot of times I'll watch this movie, and I'll watch that scene, the portal scene, where they all come in, and and dun 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 dun, and then he catches the Mjolnir, the hammer, and it says Avengers, and then all the music, all the sound just disappears. It's just silence, and he catches the a symbol, and then boom, 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 and then the music kicks right back in, and then we have this, classic running at each other battle sequence between the bad guys and the good guys. And that battle sequence, I can't imagine how difficult that was to shoot and to edit and to get everybody involved and have so many great moments within that battle sequence. And then the ending with Iron Man getting the stones and I am Iron Man, then snapping everybody out. I mean, it's so satisfying, the most satisfying ending you get to a movie. And also very sad, of course, what happened to Tony Stark. Another scene that makes my eyes ball so much, in that end scene. The funeral at the end, oh my gosh, so hard. But it's a great way to end the movie because we get all the characters. We get to see all the characters as the camera pans through all the different superheroes that been involved with Tony Stark. And it was a great ending. This Tony Stark is my favorite character. Begin the whole series. We have a great ending to that character. Sacrificed himself to save the world. I mean, what can you do? There's nothing better than that. And there's nothing more I can like out of a character except for sacrificing your life to save people. That's the greatest sacrifice of all. So absolutely love what they did with the Iron Man character. And I love what they did with Captain America. And they made a happy ending with Captain America, which I actually really enjoyed about that character. That character has kind of a tragic, storyline. So I like what they do with him. Yeah, I just get so much excitement, so much joy out of this movie. I just love watching it over, even if it's a long movie. Man, it's such a fun movie to watch. And it's fun, but yet sad, yet exhilarating. It gives me all the emotions a movie does. And you might say, oh, superhero movies, those aren't real movies. And I'm like, yeah, they make me feel real emotions. If I feel real emotions, then I means I'm really invested in these characters. And that's what a movie is supposed to do. It's supposed to tell an interesting story, supposed to get you emotionally involved in the characters. If it does that, it's a real movie to me. So yeah, Avengers Endgame, I said so much about it. I keep talking. #1 movie of the MCU, favorite superhero movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, there it is, #1, Avengers Endgame. So thank you for everybody watching this series. I really appreciate everybody giving comments and giving your own lists that are somewhat similar, somewhat different than mine. Love the commenting back and forth between that. So yeah, feel free to tell me what you think about these top 3. Is it a good top 3? Are they in your top 3? Yeah, and give me your list. Love to see them. And just thank you for doing that. And yeah, just thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking it. And thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good day and a good Thanksgiving.